like politicians are important. Like these people have a lot of power. They do really good things or really bad things. And they're the ones that should have the cameras in their faces, not the fucking caregivers. Like like these guys are changing the world, changing how we can live our lives. Like they should be like I don't want them leaving the fucking airport. It was just like, why did you vote yes on this, you dumb dumb? Like I want to see more of that.
So you want more access because they're on the news and they do stuff and they make addresses, but it's and
Mm,
when they say stupid stuff, it's even worse than when the Kardashians do it because they don't have cameras on 24/7. They go out in public and are addressing the public and say something stupid, knowing that the cameras are on. So you're saying it should be like keeping up with the politicians.
yes.
That okay? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think
I
they would have a huge problem with it.
well, I don't give a fuck.
The Kardashians.
Like, Hakatoos?
I
I don't know.
get it.
That's
Yeah,
just
it's always
something
like
I'd
some
like to
guy like
see.
I'm standing here on the lawn of the White House
Hmm.
with nobody behind me. I'm
Well, I
telling
mean,
you about some politician that said something.
because we'll see it on Facebook or something where it's just like, did you know this guy voted this
Yeah.
stupid thing? And you're like, wow, how does this guy like? And he said this, and you read the quote, and you're like, how does he know how to breathe? This person sounds fucking stupid, and they shouldn't even have a job at Walmart, let alone in office anywhere. This is crazy.
Right.
And people get upset for a day, and then they're like, oh, whatever. It's a politician. They're going to do what they do. It's like, well, they don't have to. They don't have to do that. And if
That's
we
true.
if we put the spotlight on them more often than we do, then they might, be bullied in a way to fucking act accordingly.
Well, what if we take it further then? If we're going to do keeping up with the politicians, does it have to be real though, or can it be like these reality shows where they're all edited for certain angles and all that? I mean, wouldn't that be the worry that these politicians would be, well, you're going to edit it to make me look bad.
Yeah.
I'm just playing it out. I know you're just spitballing, but I'm just, let's
Well,
push
I'm not pitching like a reality show. I'm picturing more
like
guerrilla
C-SPAN,
style,
like
like
on
like actual like well TMZ edits all the time, but just like those one takes where they're like, "Hey, Brad Pitt, you're leaving the airport. Hey, what's it like fucking Angelina Jolie? That's fun, right? Hey, why aren't you paying attention to me?" Like I want more of that. Like just knowing who they are. Like I couldn't name Illinois politicians to save my fucking life, and that is not a good thing.
I think if they're able to legislate things like the Patriot Act, where they can decide what they can access
Hmm.
in our personal lives, in private personal lives, not like, well, I'm a public figure and you can see my voting record. No, I think there should be a C-SPAN for every member of like every state should have their own sort of C-SPAN thing, but you have like a channel for each person and they just have a body cam on at all times.
So we got like the congressman,
Yep.
got the governor,
Like, no, we're gonna
seeing what
see
they're
you
doing.
bang your wife. We're gonna make sure that's your wife you're banging.
And that would be fucking but that would be
Here, put on
great.
my wife mask.
Oh, jeez. Put on this Kim Kardashian mask. I want to fuck her. But like that, but that would be great because we would see what they do,
Yeah,
and not just like, oh, we are voting on things that are very dry, but just like, man, this guy sure golfs a lot.
yeah. It's for
Boy, this guy,
America.
this guy sure does golf a lot. That's
Yeah,
nuts. And like like the Daily Show made politics entertaining. And unfortunately, it's very sad because it would just point out how fuck things are. But the John Oliver, is that his name?
yeah.
Like he's doing the same thing on HBO with all his fucking exposés, which are amazing and hilarious. And it's just like let's do that. Let's point out these issues, which economy, education, and make them. I don't want to say entertaining, but yeah, entertaining. Put a focus on them and see what these guys do based on that.
Yeah, and the
Like, look,
Kardashians.
and yeah, keeping up with the
I don't have a
college
problem.
football.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
I would love because like the Kardashians, who gives a fuck? Who cares? But the politicians, it's like, yeah, this guy kind of has major influence on our lives. So I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's thinking. I want to know where he's going. I want to know why he's voting the way he is.
If they
I
can
want
tell,
people to be like, why'd you vote for that stupid abortion thing? That was dumb. And it's like
yeah.
I want to hear that shit.
Well, if you rewind to earlier in the day, you'll see me taking a bag of cash from this person, and that's how they wanted me to vote.
I think that would be the fun part if somebody were to start a channel like that, like you were saying, because you would have to pitch it or present it in an entertaining way. You can't just have it like C-SPAN 3 because that's
Right.
just boring as fuck.
And you only see them when they're sitting there.
That
You
as
don't see
well.
them in their office, you know.
Yeah, and almost like NFL pregame, where it's just like, all right, they're going to be voting for this here. I mean, and it looks very dry, but we're going to break it down for you, and this is why it's important for not just women, but you too, and old people, and here's what's going to happen, and we think the people are going to vote this way, and we're really going to be watching the senators from these states, and blah blah blah. Yeah, like oh shit, it's getting exciting. This is some Game of Thrones shit happening. This is fun.
I I think the only reason that wouldn't work is because they do well. They don't actually get anything done, but there's so many things to be voted on that you couldn't do it like NFL style, where like, okay, here's the
But
game of the week.
And that's great though, because that will shine a light on it. Where it's like, fucking Mackenzie from Pennsylvania, he backdoored that law right in there. Oh, we had a feeling he was going to do that. He voted yes for this, and we all wanted that, but he snuck that fucking thing in there. And oh, what a shady move! But we all kind of saw it coming. And then we're just like, this fucking Mackenzie, I'm watching him. He's a bit of a heel.
Yeah. Um, have you ever tried to watch C-SPAN?
Uh, yeah,
It's rough.
it's very rough.
It's very boring.
And yeah, I do
Um,
don't. It's rough.
and like you said, to be serious too, because what you're talking about would be really entertaining, would be funny. But in all seriousness, don't you think they should have some part of C-SPAN where it's completely nonpartisan and they're just explaining what it is they're voting on? Because they're like a representative from Oklahoma to take its floor, Bill 4789386 for the blah blah blah
Hmm.
allocations, and you're just like, what the? I can't. What is this for? And someone can just. I
Break it
guess they
down.
couldn't even tell you
Simplify it.
what it's for in a nonpartisan way because they try and backdoor all this shit into all these bills.
Yeah,
There'd be no way.
yeah.
Do you know
I,
that there are committees out there? There's a group, and I forget the name of the group. Um, it's got some stupid like benign like freedom America type thing in its name, like they all do.
oh,
And they
yeah, yeah.
actually write the legislation and give it to the Congress people, and they just like use that as their template for the law.
They just
For
rubber
the
stamp it. They're like,
Yeah,
"This is good.
yeah.
Here's my homework."
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Yee.
How is that? I don't know. I don't get how that's allowed.
The itty bitty titty committee needs to be stopped, Jim.
I'll take any, at all sizes, shapes. They all need to be suckled and loved.
Hmm.
I
Just
don't hate.
nuzzled.
I don't hate on
Just
them.
nuzzled. So yeah, keeping up with the politicians. Maybe one day that'll be a thing. Because I mean, that's just kind of where we're going with social media, where it's just like everyone's becoming a celebrity in their own right. It's like, oh, I'm a YouTube star. It's like, all right, I
Right.
can see that you're creating some content, and it's always like, what's next and who's next, and we're kind of running out of people. So, I mean, politicians they just seem ripe for the picking. And I'm just curious to where that goes in the next 10, 15 years. Or it might go even further the other way, where it's even more complicated and people are even more turned off by it. Like, fuck, I don't want to watch any of this. I don't
Right.
vote. Because I love those sites when it's voting time and they're like, all right, we're going to break down who these people are, what their pros and cons, what they're for, what they vote against. And you
Right.
can make a decision when you go to the voting booth. I love that. And it's basically taking like that type of strategy and just expanding on it. It's like keep it real basic, and yeah, shit gets real confusing, but you kind of try to keep it basic and present it. And if it's something that people can take in, and it'll just open their eyes, like, oh, this guy is fucked. This other lady's pretty fucking cool. Because there's one politician, Elizabeth Warren, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like she's great. Like
She's senator from Massachusetts.
there's like two politicians where you're like, I like that one. The rest can go fuck themselves. But like her and Bernie and shit, and you're
Bernie.
like,
Yeah.
oh man, these guys, jeez, if we could just have all of these, that would be great.
Yep.
But instead, we got these other ones who are just like it's God's law. You're like, oh fuck,
We don't want Sharia law.
yeah,
Yeah, it's fucked. And if you think about it, how how do you feel about this? Do you want total transparency and to be able to know how they get whatever they get done? Even if, because like, what if they get something positive done, but they had to do underhanded shit to do it? Does the outcome make all the other shit okay? That's what I,
Well,
because nothing. It wasn't like there was some magical time period in America where
sure,
politics were all nice.
right.
It's
Uh,
just we know so much more now.
I would say I would want the transparency, not just for transparency's sake, but even if it was like, oh, they're doing good things, but in an underhanded way, it's probably so much more the other way than the good way.
Right.
Where it's just like, I'll just take transparency, even if we have to lose a couple good things, we're going to be getting rid of 1,000 bad things, and that's worth it.
What if they would just they would just freeze up though? They would just, oh, we can't do anything. I can't talk to him. Can't talk to this person from this group.
That would
And
be great. I want these people walking
like
on
I can't go golfing
eggshells.
with this guy because he's a Republican and I'm a Democrat, but neither one of us gives a fuck. Can we just go
Yeah,
golfing
it's
together?
great. That's awesome because they're all spineless cockroaches.
Maybe it'll happen when the drones take over. Like when everyone has a drone and we're just flying drones over these golf courses with cameras on them,
Hmm.
with like telescoping mics on them that it can pick up every little sound.
Yeah. They'd just be like, now watch this drive.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that is like the quintessential politician golf clip.
Yeah.
Now watch this drive. Oh my God.
Speaking of drones, the Star Wars Millennium Falcon, they have this toy that's a drone. It's a quadcopter,
Hmm.
but it's a Millennium Falcon drone essentially.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's like $90, which honestly I thought it would be more. And that's just the coolest fucking thing to me. And I want one. Right?
Yeah, that is pretty badass when you think about it. And I was thinking about this too. When they've got all these spaceships in Star Wars that are sort of they don't look like they would fly well, right?
Hmm.
But then I googled, do aerodynamics matter in space? Because there's no air.
Just like thrusters.
Yeah, like it doesn't really matter. They said that there is something that does matter when you start getting close to the speed of light. You know, where like the less light that you reflect or something, some shit. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I almost said physician. I'm not a physician.
I'm not a Kardashian.
I'm not a commercial fan. But yeah, like if something was shaped like a box, it doesn't really fucking matter. There's no air.
Mhm.
Like we make things sleek because the air pressure builds up. There's no air. Doesn't matter. So I was thinking of the Millennium Falcon and like the B-wing, which just looks like a cross with like a little pod on it, like a little cockpit. I'm thinking that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's no air in space. It doesn't matter if it's aerodynamic.
Yeah.
I was right. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But it has to be photodynamic or something. I don't
Sure
remember.
as fuck does.
But
I
are you
saw one of
excited about Star Wars?
I am.
I'm
I keep
starting to
I
get jazzed.
I forgot that it comes out this year, December. So we're a few months away. It's just nuts. I still haven't seen any of the trailers, and I'm sure I probably will next time I go to the theater. But yeah, everything looks good from what I hear, and everything sounds great. And yeah, I'll be seeing the shit out of it.
I saw the latest the current trailer in front of Ant-Man, and it looked cool. But the reason why it's on my mind is because I was at Target and a few days ago or whenever it was last week or something, they did the big like the toy unveiling, like they have their whole own aisle for this new Star Wars crap. So we were in the toy
Nice.
aisle the other day when we were shopping because I have a son and he's 5 and that's where we end up when we're grocery shopping. And there's some cool shit, and I had to ask. We've had Pat and Brian both on separately from um, Structured Gibberish. They have a podcast where they talk about nerdy stuff. And I had to ask them. I said, "Are these ships in the movie? Because they have this Tie Fighter that's all blacked out. It's all black and it has this little like red spot on one side. And I don't remember seeing it in the trailer. I didn't. I don't. I saw the trailer at the theater. I didn't sit and like, ooh, if you look in this one little scene of the trailer, like I'm not that guy.
Hmm.
So I didn't. I didn't.
Anymore.
Not with Star Wars. I'm not going to do that with Star Wars. Yeah, anymore. So I saw like a lot of the ships are cool. Like they have these like cool paint jobs and shit on them. I'm like, that's pretty cool, and they confirmed that that is going.